Allan Poe was born January 19th, 1809, in Boston, Massachusetts, the child of actors. His father had abandoned their family, and at 2 years old, his mother had passed away due to consumption or tuberculosis. With both of his parents gone and his brothers and sisters sent off to other families, Poe became a foster child to John and Frances Allan in Richmond, Virginia. While Edgar did not get along with his foster father, John, at all, he did get along with his foster mother, Frances. The two were very close. This is where he met his first love, Elmira Royster. The two were shortly engaged before he went off to college at the University of Virginia. However, John Allan did not give Poe enough money to be able to afford his classes at college, so Poe became an obsessive gambler to try to pay off his debts, but it didn't work, so he came back to his love, only to find out she was engaged to another man in his absence. This devastated Poe. However, nothing could devastate Poe more than to learn that his foster mother, Frances Allan, was dying of tuberculosis in 1829. He learned that she wanted to see him before she died, but by the time he got back to Richmond from where he was at an army base, she was already buried. In light of this tragedy, Poe decided to move to Baltimore, away from his foster father, with his aunt Maria Clem and her daughter Virginia. It did not take long for Poe to fall in love with his 14-year-old cousin, and in 1836 the two were happily married. Poe was about 27. Poe returns to Richmond, Virginia with his new wife and works for a magazine called The Southern Literary Messenger, where he became quickly known as a cutthroat critic. And due to alcohol abuse and his vicious reviews for the magazine, he was soon asked to leave the job. However, this didn't stop Poe from writing at all. In 1840, he released and published a collection of his most famous short stories in a book called Tales of the Grotesque and Arabesque. Such stories included The Pit and the Pendulum, The Telltale Heart, The Fall of the House of Usher, and The Mask of the Red Death. Some say it symbolizes tuberculosis, the disease that took the lives of his mother, foster mother, brother, and eventually his young wife, Virginia. In 1842, young Virginia Poe contracted tuberculosis, which caused her lungs to cough up phlegm and blood. She died in 1847. Poe was heartbroken. However, during his wife's march towards death, Poe did manage to write The Raven, a story of a man haunted by a big black bird as he grieves the death of his lover. 2 years after Virginia died, Poe was traveling from city to city trying to find work. During this time period, Poe reconnects with Elmira Royster Shelton, now a widow. He pursues her again, and they become engaged. On September 27, 1849, a 40-year-old Poe left Richmond on his way to Philadelphia. He went missing for 5 days. On October 3rd, Poe was found in the streets of Baltimore, delusional and smelling of alcohol, wearing clothes that didn't even belong to him. He was sent to a hospital where physicians say he kept whispering the name Reynolds over and over again. This delirium lasted for 3 more days, and then on October 7th, Poe said, "Lord help my poor soul," and then died. Out of all of Edgar Allan Poe's stories, his death remains his biggest mystery.